And we are back. A football discussion on the pitch. We're here. Happy Halloween, everyone. This has been recorded on the 31st of October. And
best day of the year.
Yep. We are joined by Ed, by Lewis, and by Sam. Say hello to the people.
Hello.
Hello, guys. Good evening.
Everyone good? Everyone good?
Yeah, feeling good.
Yeah, nice.
Feeling ready?
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're all pretty excited about this episode because we're going to be doing our kind of early quarter of the way through the season grades for every team. So it's kind of going to be like school-style grades. Yeah.
Spooky.
From F- to A+, or A star, whatever floats your boat.
Of course.
We're also going to be doing our quickfire predictions at the end and mention FPL as well, like we always do.
Yeah.
And
is it right? We've all got to agree on a grade.
yes,
So
we will all.
grade
Yes, we will all be giving our individual grades before then agreeing on a on the pitch grade, which will be like the kind of overall
So
one.
there could be some arguments.
There hopefully there will be.
Yeah.
There will be.
Friendships could be ruined.
Hopefully.
Yeah, people might not be on this pod next week.
Would you like me to record the final grades for you?
Oh yes,
that's a good
please,
idea.
Sam.
Yeah.
That is a lovely idea.
My captain.
Thank you. Look at that.
Clutch.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
we're going to be going from last to first, holding that,
Of course.
Audience retention and that. Come on. Right, so we're going to be starting off with Sheffield United. I don't know who wants to, kind of give their grades
Go
first.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Ed, you start.
Do you want me to just give the letter first?
I think, we'll all give our grades first and then we'll get into the overall discussion.
Okay, so I've given Sheffield United an E.
An E, okay.
Yep, not an E- or anything, just an E.
Just an E.
I gave
Alright.
them an F, but just an F. Nothing else.
I've given an E+.
Okay. I've given a D-.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
two of us have got in the E grade, one of us got it in F grade, and one of
One
us
is
got it
D.
in D.
Okay, so I'll give you my kind of feelings on this first, because
Right.
D- does seem a bit high compared to everyone
gonna
else's.
say, yeah.
But it's kind of, that's the lowest I've got, firstly. I'll just say that. It's kind of the fact that I thought, I'm like, F is like, you've been so bad that you've
like you're
not
not
even,
stringing passes
yeah,
together.
that kind of thing. Like, you've not scored a goal. Right, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Sheffield United. Let's not get it wrong. We're gonna, when we get into the full discussion, like they've been pretty horrendous, but they've had some moments.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, the some moments is where they get the D- from.
To be fair, like before that 8-0 demolishment, they were losing, but they were playing some okay football. But since then, it just hasn't gone well. Like
The 8-0
It's
is
one
there.
that-
1 point in how many games? 10. Yeah, 1 point in 10
Yeah.
And
games.
that was against Everton.
They've let in 29 goals as well.
Yeah, like
They're
obviously.
bottom in goals per match as well.
I mean, I
0.7.
predicted them to finish bottom, but yeah, they could be doing better.
Because there's
honestly.
bad, and then there's this bad.
It's the-
There's a
I
level
think-
of bad. that you
I
have
kind of
to-
get Michael's D grade though, because no one really expects them to do anything, right? Like with their season, like going into it, I predicted them to.
Well, I
get
expected
relegated.
them
But,
to get
do
more than a
maybe
draw
bit better
in
than
10
this.
games. Yeah.
It can't be this bad.
Yeah, and considering how they started off like okay, that you kind of expect them to find more points somewhere else,
Yeah, I mean, you look at I've got the results here. Like,
without
their
wins,
first
very worrying.
first game of the season, they only lose 1-0 to Palace, and then they have like a lose 2-1 to Nottingham Forest, which that is a disappointing result. But 2-1 to Man City's not
Yeah,
too
that's
bad.
the one that stands out.
Then they looked good against Everton,
Yeah.
and Everton have they've come on a little bit since. They looked very good against Spurs, and nearly won that game. And then it's the 8-0, and then it's just like a fall off from there, really.
Yeah, that must have.
I think
crushed them,
those
honestly.
those two are the I know they lost against Spurs, but that performance was very good, and against Everton is where they get bumped up from an E to me.
Okay.
But apart from that, it's still a D- is you're not passing.
And if that's like your worst as well,
Yeah.
then
It's-
you're not doing.
it's
great.
not a passing grade,
So, Lewis, are you keeping them at F?
I can.
You don't have to. I mean,
I can move.
10 games in without a win is.
It is
They are
very
my worst
poor.
team.
They've
Yeah.
also conceded an average of 2.9 goals per game. So they
Yeah.
are conceding nearly an average of 3 goals every game.
That's mental.
Like I said, they're like.
Obviously, the 8-0 bumps that up, but like still.
Yeah.
Just look at the average. They're
Well, I
not winning
mean,
anything.
but you look at it. They've conceded 3 to Fulham, 5 to
Yeah.
Arsenal. There's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
would say they look like the favourites for relegation now. And I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
how long
Yeah,
they're going to
yeah.
keep hacking bottom.
yeah, and they've
Not long.
they've
Especially-
conceded a goal in every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So I would argue that, like, considering they are bottom, I would say, like, I feel like an E.
I can
something with
I
an
can
E.
I can back an E in fairness.
Yeah?
I can back an E.
But, like,
Yeah.
What are you strongly for the
I can agree with an E, but like it has to be like a
E minus?
E or
What-
E minus.
what
yeah,
an-
yeah.
But then with Michael,
I'd say an E because
I can respect
I can
an E.
say an E. I think E plus is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could even go E plus in fairness, but
What
I
a solid E.
Just
let's say a
yeah.
solid E.
Okay.
Let's say a solid
Yeah,
E.
The thing that's keeping them from F is the fact that like no one really had expectations for them. Really.
Yeah, I think that's. I think agree.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're moving on to Burnley.
All right.
Ed again. We'll start with you.
Alright, I've given Burnley a D.
I'm giving them an E plus.
I've given them an E.
I've given Burnley a D as well.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
We're all
agreed
quite
on
similar in
that.
fairness.
Yeah. So getting into Burnley, I think it's like a couple of the wins. Again, they've not. They've got 2 wins
They have
in the
4
league.
points, I believe.
Yeah. I've got the table in front of me. Why have
So
I?
they've got the win over. It keeps them above Sheffield United, but they are
Yeah.
19th, I think.
Yeah. I think the thing was everyone thought they'd be like 12th, 13th,
Yeah.
maybe like, and they're what, 19th.
So the expectation
So-
is.
Yeah, the
yeah.
expectation is.
That's why I put them
is-
like E plus.
Sorry, I've also realised that I took one of the league wins. I said they had 2. It's 1. I've taken them
Yeah,
from the
they got a
cup.
win and a draw.
Sorry, yeah, they've got a win and a
Yeah.
draw, but they've got 2 wins in the cup. But sorry,
I think.
yeah.
The reason I've given them a grade above Sheffield United is because I don't know. When I watch Burnley, I do see like very few signs of
It's promising.
progression. Like they
Yeah,
try and
yeah.
play a bold style of football, but they haven't really been able to transfer that from Championship to Premier League.
Yeah.
yet.
I think as well. You look at who they've played. They've had a much tougher run
Yeah.
than Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Man City, Aston Villa, Spurs. They got a draw against Nottingham Forest, whereas Sheffield United lost. Newcastle was only a 2-0 loss. I know they lost big to Chelsea and Brentford, and they did lose to Bournemouth as well. That is that was still a close game.
I've given them the lowest on the whole list, like an E, and that's lower than what I gave Sheffield United, and this
okay.
is because
Expectation.
expectations.
I can agree with
like,
that, yeah.
but how Burnley was so good in the Championship. Yes, they didn't get to keep those loanees like Teller and Maatsen, but everyone expected Benson Company to come into the Premier League and do well, get Burnley to like mid-table,
Yeah.
and they just haven't done that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Company gets sacked soon. Like,
Agreed.
Fair enough. Considering of the promoted teams, they were probably like everyone thought they'd do the best.
best.
They were the one that were expected to kind of not be in the relegation fight, which I also think is like, obviously this isn't just retroactive looking. Even at the time, I thought that was a bit crazy. I obviously predicted them in 17th, but I've got to admit, looking from everyone, not just from what we said, that I think that their expectations been a bit higher. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got them at a D. I think just kind of because they've looked okay in some way, and they kind of have a style of
They've
football.
got they've got
Yeah,
identity,
I think
haven't they?
Sheffield United,
Sheffield United
don't
don't.
really have an identity, which is
I get the identity, but in terms of looking good, I don't know, because honestly, like, Burnley have some players, they signed some players who I'd still think would be like Premier League quality, like should be doing better, and
Yeah.
it's just been underwhelming in terms of like expectations. They've been really, really underwhelming.
Yeah.
when I say looking good, I mean like in particular matches. I don't mean like
Okay, yeah.
as a
They have-
whole.
No, no, of
because
course.
they have moments, don't they?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they can never really, like-
They've definitely had more. They've definitely had more bits than
Yeah.
Sheffield United. I think it's quite close. I mean, it's the win, isn't it? They've got a result,
They got-
you know.
yeah, yeah.
I would be
And-
Points on
honest,
the board,
with
yeah.
the grading, like I would be willing to bring them down a bit based on
To what?
this, just a little bit to maybe like a D minus.
I think in D minus.
I can D minus, yeah.
Yeah,
I can go with D
Sure.
minus,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go smoothly.
Yeah, I know. Right, we're going to be moved on to Luton. I'm sure this is going to
Okay.
fire up some fiery debate, I
Yeah.
think.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Go on then.
So I've given Luton just a C.
I see,
Just a
okay.
C.
Oh, I gave him just a D.
Okay.
C minus.
I've given Luton a C plus.
Okay. So we got 3 C.
I think C plus is a little too
bit high,
a
yeah.
little bit high. Like, to be fair play, Luton. Like, a lot of people was thinking, oh, they were going to be like the worst Premier League
They'd
team
be like
since
Derby.
Derby.
Derby,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what,
yeah.
16 points or
But
whatever,
and there was a period, and I think it was only this weekend that they'd gone back into the relegation zone because Bournemouth won.
Yeah,
beat,
yeah.
whoever it was.
And the fact that they're competing to stay out of the drop zone and are the best team out of the three promoted teams. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's
That's
you
why
know
I put them in
that's
C. I mean, like they're not underachieving, they're not overachieving.
They're
They're doing
I mean,
what I thought.
everyone.
okay.
I think that everyone thought that they were going to be in the relegation battle.
Yeah.
I thought that they would be a little bit better than people were saying that they kind of break Derby's record. I never thought that was on the table, but I think they've started a bit better than I thought. I think that they were gonna. I think eventually, I thought kind of mid-season they'd kind of work out the whole Premier League. Their team is pretty much unchanged, and everyone that they did sign isn't exactly your
Yeah.
Premier League quality players.
It's because the side they haven't had the opportunities to make those signings.
Well, yeah.
Obviously,
Plus,
a lot of them
also
only had to go to the stadium. So
yeah. Also, I think that they were kind of. I think that as a club, they've kind of expected to to go down, honestly, and that when you look at them, they've not signed anyone on astronomical wages that they're going to have to sell or try and rip up the contract if they get relegated, so they can have another shot at getting back into the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely.
to me, Luton have nothing to lose. Like I think that if Luton, I don't know, go on like a big losing streak, get relegated, they shouldn't sack their manager. Honestly,
No, I agree.
I agree, yeah.
The fact they're even here is like
unless
wow, well done.
unless they lose like 8-0 10 times in a row, then obviously that's a bit worrying. But it's just that they've got here. Like they were years not long ago, they were in the National League at the time, Conference Premier. But yeah, so I don't know. Like that, I gave them a C minus because then obviously they're not doing great, but they're doing.
The minus because they're in the relegation.
They're doing.
zone, I
They're,
guess.
yeah, they're
can't
doing
give them
good.
like-
They're doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, and
I
they've
can
not
see
had
that.
they've not had a truly terrible loss yet.
No.
No.
Burnley
Not in the way
and
that Sheffield United
yeah, Sheffield United had the
Burnley
8-0.
had,
Obviously,
yeah.
Burnley. I mean, the 4-1 to Chelsea is pretty bad. I mean, I know they lost 3-0 to Chelsea, but that was earlier in the season as well. I think Luton have kind of. I mean, they've not been in every game, but they've been in points at every game. If you know what I mean. Especially like against Spurs, they look really good. Obviously, they had the win against Everton as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
what are we saying for Luton? I'd be happy to go down to a C minus, but for me, I think it should be somewhere.
I think
between
it.
C.
I think it has to
Okay.
be within the C grade,
C
personally.
minus then I'd say.
Yeah, C minus. Yeah.
C minus.
Okay,
I
I think C minus. Yeah.
I think anything higher is a little too nice. I
Be
think.
generous.
I can. Yeah, all right. I can go with it.
Okay.
Right.
Excellent.
Bournemouth is up next.
I've given them a D plus.
I gave them an E plus.
I have also given them an E plus.
I've also given them a D plus.
Oh.
So there's two.
Right.
arguments.
Okay.
Sets of agreements.
I mean, in fairness, I think I like. The Bournemouth have been. The results have been bad.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah,
way to sugar. I mean, literally, the last episode was based on how we thought Raiola was
Yeah,
getting a
we've
sack.
spoken
You know,
about it for a while,
I mean,
haven't we?
they have since picked up their first win, literally against Burnley this weekend, and they look pretty good. It is against Burnley though,
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
I mean,
You can't say much from it.
Yeah.
I think to be fair, I was quite alone in our
you were
predictions that Bournemouth were. I predicted that Bournemouth would be mid-table, because I was quite impressed with the signings they've made, and they looked like they had a project building going forward.
Yeah.
I completely disagreed with the Gary O'Neill sacking, but also I thought Areola would be a good replacement, but.
Not really worked out.
But yeah, that's why I've given
Well,
them such a
early
low
days,
rating, because I thought generally Bournemouth could, have a good run, stay in the Premier League. Yeah, so I didn't think they would be in relegation contenders.
Yeah, I'll put them in the D bracket just because I think, like you said, they would have hoped to have kicked on from last season.
Yeah.
Maybe sort of established themselves as a sort of mid-table club. They still can do that. Look, this is once again,
Yeah.
this is so early, but
I'll say they've played I think they've played Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham maybe as well. They've played some good teams.
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, they've had a really
They
hard
have.
run.
Yeah, and 10 games in,
it has been a tough. I think it's some of the performances have been okay. I think it's that some of the other performances have looked really laboured and just. It's early on, and obviously we know that Areola didn't have the full pre-season with them. But I mean, I know this is kind of going a bit early, but you look at Wolves later. Gary O'Neill didn't have any pre-season with Wolves, and they're doing
and
much better.
financial
And
restrictions.
again, financial things. So I think that you can kind of only put so much of that on when you're judging
That's why
what
I
they've
think
done.
I think it's good that we're in sort of agreement that they're below C though, because it's like
yeah.
they will be
Yeah,
slightly
100%.
disappointed.
100%. Especially
with their season
when you
so
look
far.
at what they were kind of. I thought they'd be in the relegation battle, but in the way they'd be in like 15th, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think they have got 3 draws so far, so they've definitely had better results than the other teams. But I think that it's not been to what everyone expected.
What do we think then? Bad enough to be in the E? Or
No, I don't think bad enough to be in it.
Lower D, then. I can
I'm
agree
saying
with
I'm saying a solid D personally.
I would say so you guys both had them in E, right?
E plus,
I'd say
yeah.
maybe for me, I'm happy to dip down to like a D minus.
I can agree with
I'd say D minus because
I can go to a
honestly,
D minus, but
honestly, I think Bournemouth should be doing much better.
Yeah.
That's
And
why.
I think
Okay.
they will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay, I can back that.
All right, next.
okay. Up next, we've got Nottingham Forest.
I've given them a D.
Gave him a D plus.
I've given them a C minus.
I've also given Nottingham Forest a C minus. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they've been alright in fairness. Like they play well against Arsenal.
They've been really
Against United as well,
quiet this season. Like
I was
it's not
gonna
been-
say-
Going under the radar.
Yeah, they've been alright to be honest.
I was going to say Nottingham Forest have
they're
had
transfer mania.
yeah.
Actually worked. Well, not worked, but they've been alright. In
I
fairness.
think it's more that they've had like a lot of draws, and that they've
Yeah.
they're further down the they're further down the table. But when you look at their results, and especially when you look at against some of the draws we're against, obviously Brentford's a very good result, Palace is a good result, Luton, I know they want to be getting more than draw, and they've beaten Sheffield United, those teams that they
Nearly
could be
got
around.
something at Old Trafford,
Nearly got
this
some,
season.
yeah, agreed. Arsenal, that game was really close on the first
Yeah.
day of the season.
Yeah.
I think I've given them a D, like below a C, which is what they would hope to have had. Just because I think they spent so much money last year, and if this is a project they're trying to build, then I think they'd rather be a bit higher up in the table.
I
at this
suppose, but
point.
I mean,
Yeah.
the thing
That's
I
why
think
I'm
is
putting
that
D.
when they look, I
don't really know what they're planning.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, what is their project?
Yeah.
I don't know what the project is, but like if
Yeah.
you're,
No,
if you're
yeah.
spending that much money, I feel like
Because I mean, like when
Just
you
sign
look
players and see what happens.
yeah,
That's pretty much.
like
Yeah, literally.
when you look at who they sign, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like with what the team has got. It's just kind of like
scattergun.
By
it,
everyone,
It
yeah.
does seem like Hudson-Odoi's available. We'll have Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, yeah.
Surely he can work,
Yeah.
And like in fairness, he's been all right, but it seems very risky to me, and that they've been all right. I
Like
think,
they've signed Vlachodimos from Benfica and they haven't
yeah,
used him.
and he's not
Matt
used to
Turner's
him.
number one.
I've had this, and Matt Turner has not looked very wise in Vlachodimos playing.
Isn't there that
He's
Chelsea player?
Oh well, they
Santos.
signed Andre
Santos,
Santos on
yeah,
loan.
yeah, he
He's
played
not
like 10
even.
minutes.
He doesn't even make some benches.
So they've
Yeah.
got a bit of a bloated squad.
Yeah,
haven't they?
yeah. I mean,
Again.
you look at like Harry Arter is on 40k a week. He just trains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, kind of getting back to what grade, I'd say I've kind of given them a C minus because I think they've just kind of gone under the radar. C minus is like a little bit lower than just like you kind of mid, But
Yeah.
I think they've been a bit worse than just like
I'd
a
be
mid
alright to
team.
go C minus.
But I think
Depending on
that you can't like a D is kind of like they're just passing for me. Forest is what I'd say if we're using the
It'd
like
be D
grades.
plus or C minus. I think either one of them.
I'm saying C
I might go
minus.
either.
I'm sticking C
Yeah.
I'm
minus.
C minus.
C minus, C
okay.
minus.
I can,
Yeah.
I can back it up.
All right,
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice, isn't it?
Beautiful. Yeah.
right. We're moving on to Everton now.
It's a weird. This is a little weird one, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
I don't know
given
if
them
there'll
an.
be like a big disparity. In
I think there will be. Yeah,
I've gone C minus.
I went D minus.
D plus.
I've gone for C plus.
Oh yeah, big.
Oh wow.
C
Okay.
plus.
Right. Okay.
C plus. That wow.
I definitely think there's some recency bias from the West Ham game in
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
There
Yes,
is
definitely.
definitely
Yeah.
some-
Like the plus for me is a big fact. The plus after the D for me is the big factor of this weekend. Like, obviously,
I mean, yeah.
Fair enough.
Stage
Right.
point.
What I would say is though, they've got 2 wins out of their last 3 games. They beat 3-0 against Bournemouth, 1-0 against West
Is
Ham.
Dyche ball coming
Yeah,
together?
look,
No.
look. It's they also got the win against Brentford as well, which is
Yeah.
I think that they're slowly starting to figure out how to score some goals. At least get a few. It's kind of that's becoming less of an issue with them.
That has been their main.
That has
issue,
been
I'll
the
say.
main issue,
They are
but-
actually second in the league for big chances missed. They've missed 22 big chances this
Wow.
season.
Yeah.
So if they could have converted them into goals, who knows where they would be in the league?
Everton are really hard to give a rating for me because the reason, yeah,
Survival, I think, to be honest.
obviously,
should
but
we
also
expect
like
from
they're,
Yeah.
well, one like how big Everton are, like they're a massive team. They should be finishing
Yeah.
higher.
Yeah.
For the
But
name,
two,
yeah.
there's been so much going on with Everton recently. Like there's really poor ownership. Obviously they lost their chairman. The possible point deduction as well. Like there's been a lot going on like in the higher ends of the club compared to like on the pitch, and obviously. We're Chelsea fans. We would know that
relate.
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
that
We've been through
if
it.
when stuff
your
happens at the top, it runs down.
Yeah.
The trickle down effect.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. That's why they're in the C for me. Because I kind of expect them to be the sort of lower mid-table team now. Like
It's
that's sort
not
of what they go into
to
the
me.
season
It's not even. I know C plus has a lot of recency bias, and I was really impressed with the West Ham result. I think for me, it's just that they, you look at this kind of the recent uptick in form.
You should take that into account, though. Like,
Yeah,
when
you
think
should
about, like,
definitely.
potential trajectories of their season. Like, they started off so terrible.
Definitely.
Like, remember that they nearly got knocked out in the was it the League Cup by
Doncaster.
Doncaster?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's when they were at their their lowest.
Well, I mean,
They also
I
had
know this is kind of purely Prem as well, but they did also knock Aston Villa out of the cup in the next round as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you've got that as well. I think that. Look, I think it's going to be a really interesting one. I think what we agree as a team won't be what I think Everton's done, but I kind of get it because they were so poor at the start of the season.
Yeah.
I just think, I mean, this is why it's kind of
That's why I
too
have them
early
near a C,
grades.
like, so like for me,
I
it would
can
be
say a
below
C
but
minus.
near
For me,
a
I'd
C.
say a C minus.
I'll
is
say
what
C minus is what I gave them, to be fair. So I'll
Yeah,
stick.
but I
with
don't
that.
know. I feel like Lewis is going to be the
If it
sticking
was a
point
little
here.
too high,
Too high.
I'd say D+, for being honest.
And then
I mean, I went for D+ originally, but I can back C-.
if only there was some sort of like.
Same.
I'll back it. I'm in the minority.
I think
it's
it,
democracy. I'll back it.
all right, okay.
But
Nice.
Otherwise, if I,
people.
to be fair, if I just said D+, then we might have been here for a while just
Yeah,
talking
like-
about Everton.
An hour and everything.
I mean, we can put like a slash. We can put like a C minus slash D+ if you want.
Asterisks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can-
okay.
Let's do that. Let's
Alright,
do that.
okay.
Right.
I can agree with that one.
Okay. We're gonna be moving on to Fulham now.
Yeah, I've just given them a straightforward C.
I gave him a straightforward D.
Okay.
C-.
I've also given a C minus.
And I think
That's
I
probably a
think
little
they have
harsh.
been below expectations.
Same. Fulham.
Yeah.
I expected them to. I mean, to be honest, I expect them to be fighting up towards the the top half of the table.
Like they were cooking last season.
They
But
were.
then they have
like-
lost Mitrovic. That's a big.
Yeah,
and
but
they
also
really
struggling
replaced
to
him.
adjust.
yeah, but also
without
like
him.
I would still rate like Marcus Silva as the gaffer and
Oh, yeah,
also
of course.
João Palhinha in the midfield. Like he was very close to, was it Bayern Munich?
Oh, yeah.
He was
Literally.
literally going to go.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
did
and-
80 million from him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Hudson
I know.
was-
We always mention this every time we say João Palhinha, but he was our signing of the season last year.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and I mean, I just think it's that, especially when you watch Fulham, it's that at times they've been so uninspiring.
Yes,
I think when you
agreed.
watched them last season, there was always something like, oh, Fulham could get back into this match. Fulham could do, and I know losing Mitrovic is going to be a big loss. It's going to hurt any team.
It's kind of like a weird second season syndrome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
a little bit.
because it's not like don't get me wrong. They're not going to be threatened relegation or anything like that.
No.
But like I expect them to kind of go up another level. I know losing Mitrovic. I just think that, especially even when you watch last year, the team like wasn't built around Mitrovic. I didn't feel like it'd be such a big loss as it was.
And like
Although I think I'm still kind of expecting Jimenez to kind of take that step back to himself, and I just think that's
that's
never
the
going to
problem
happen.
though.
Yeah.
Mitrovic's replacement is you do not sign Raul Jimenez as Mitrovic's
Yeah,
replacement.
agreed.
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
I used to like Raul Jimenez a lot. I still like him, but ever since his injury, he hasn't been the same.
No.
You do not sign Jimenez as Mitrovic's replacement. Like it's, I'm sorry, but yeah.
I watched
And-
a couple of Fulham games recently, and it seems like Willian has been sort of their only creative spark.
It's just quite
Yeah,
flat, isn't it?
I agree.
Everything's just
Yeah, there's
flat and
Yeah, I mean,
average.
you look at kind of it's just the whole. There's like I was saying, there's uninspiring. There's no one
They're just a bit of a flat.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and they do have some creative sparks, and that Tom Cairney's got a bit of that. I really like Bobby Reed, but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like
Yeah.
they can get them the ball or anything.
Yeah,
I think there's definitely something in midfield as well, because obviously you've got João Palhinha. He's very good, but he's not really a creative spark. Harrison Reed plays he's not a
Maybe,
creative
yeah.
spark.
I think that's why I gave him like a bog standard C. But honestly, based on, I'm willing to push that down a bit.
I think.
C
I mean,
minus,
I
D
don't
plus,
think.
I don't know.
I think D+ is a bit harsh, but I honestly could. The more we've talked about it, it's just kind of like
I think it has to be in C because I think they kind
they've
of
not been so bad. Yeah, you're
yeah
right.
they've kind of been average.
Yeah,
that is
Yeah, okay.
your
C minus.
Yeah, C
Kind of
minus,
similar to Forest,
C minus.
under the
Like,
radar.
yeah, because
Okay.
like I'm looking at some of the results here. They are decent.
standard.
Yeah, but like your 3-1 against Sheffield United's good. The 2-2 draw against Arsenal obviously
Yeah.
was a very
Yeah, I
good
thought
result.
that,
So
Okay.
True.
yeah, I think C minus works.
Lovely.
Right, we're gonna move on to Palace. I feel like this could be unanimous. I feel
I
like.
think so as well.
Same.
Well, I'll go C plus.
I went C minus.
C plus.
Oh, mine's just a C.
But we're all in C, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is basically as close as you'll get. Either
I think they're doing slightly better than expectations,
Yes.
considering they're adjusting to life without Zaha.
I was going to
Yes.
say,
and
actually,
he's been
yeah.
their main man.
Yeah.
He's been their main sort of attacking
And that
outlet for how many years?
they're still lacking in that in the attack as well.
He's fixed
Like what are their goal scoring stats, Mr. Gaffer? What?
You're gonna have to.
Let's get them up. Let's get them up.
Do you mean for like players?
No, as in like the team.
The
How many
team.
they scored this season?
I can get on that.
I can
race.
work that out.
He's gonna get it.
I'm not gonna get it because I've currently got XG stats up though.
Oh, okay, no, that's
So-
fine.
Ed might have it.
What sort of stats are you looking for, my friend?
Just like goal scoring stats and like.
overall
Well, I've
goals.
got them as well.
Okay.
They have. Yeah, they've scored.
Ooh.
They've scored 8.
Their average goals per match is 0.8, which puts them 17th in the league in terms of that.
Yeah, and it's clearly still that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
But like in
Expected
defense,
goals,
in defense,
16.
Defensively, they've only conceded 13, which is very good,
Yeah.
That's
especially
pretty
for
good,
where
yeah.
they're like
That's
positioned
the
in the
big difference.
table.
They've been without Eze for a few games now. And
Yeah, I think he's
yeah.
still got another couple of weeks before he comes back.
That's gonna really hurt them, I think.
Elise's been out as well, so your two main attacking options have been out. I think I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Marcus Ferreira, that's definitely wrong, but the Brazilian player that they've signed. Okay. The Brazilian, he's kind of, I mean, it's 10 games in. I'm not going to cast any aspersions on him, how he's going to do for the whole year, but he's not really hit the ground running, is what I'll say.
No.
Obviously it's only 10 games. I'm not going to judge him on that or anything, but they paid a big price tag for him. Eventually.
Jordan, are you playing?
You're gonna want to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's
the issue, I
because
think.
that's because of injuries,
That's the
isn't it?
problem.
You think Elise will be taking that role. Edwards had a good start to the season. He's got 5 goals himself.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad.
So
It's not bad,
I mean,
yeah.
5 of Crystal Palace's 8 is that's a very good individual season.
fair play.
Yeah.
To be fair, I look at Crystal Palace and I just think, who are you? Like,
What's going on there?
They are just
Like,
kind of there.
What's the long-term plan?
Yeah,
Well, I
exactly.
mean-
What is
I mean,
the plan?
this
Like,
is-
they've been in the mid-table club for such a long time.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is this
do
is
something.
Sort of Stoke
this
in
is
that
this
way.
is what I think though. In that the board, obviously, they were like, look, eventually Roy is, he's been good. I mean, keeping Palace in mid-table is everything. But they were like, we need Vieira, someone exciting, someone to drag us up the
really
table a bit.
attacking random
Yeah,
people to
exactly.
tell us apart.
But then that just didn't work. If anything, they got dragged
never
down.
did.
Yeah, it
They
never
were the Uno
materialised. Yeah, and so they're kind of just like, well, we'll go back to Roy and we'll just kind of stick in the mid-table until we can find that real spark of a manager who can bring us up. Which is like,
that's why I don't really have that many high hopes for them, and I feel that's why I give them like a C+.
They've done what I thought
I
they
think
did.
I think it's a C because for me they've done like they've done exactly what
I
I thought,
agree.
But also
which is
without
fine.
Philip-
I think
without
they've done a little.
Zaha.
I think they've done a little bit better considering.
No,
Because of,
I
that's
know.
the thing for me. Just because Zaha isn't there,
and being
but-
so
but
high
I
up,
still-
considering not scoring many as well.
But I still thought that they would do about this. Palace always find a way. They've got a solid defensive team as well. Tyree Mitchell, Mark Gay, Joel Ward. I know he's getting older, but he's still he's a really solid presence in there.
Anderson, yeah.
Anderson as well.
Anderson,
Sorry,
yeah.
I really like him as well. So like that defensive unit's been well. Sam Johnson I really like as a goalie, and they obviously bought Dean Henderson
they
as
can
well.
bring in some more attacking reinforcements.
Yeah, I think
in
attacking.
January.
Yeah, attacking's way, and obviously I
They
think
could be looking at a good season.
Elise is probably going to be leaving at some point, whether in January or in the summer.
Yeah.
Eze, surely team's going to be snapping around
Yeah,
him as well.
exactly.
So you're going to need to replace both of them in the long term. But I think currently I just
and
think,
Mark Gahey. Well, I know
and
that's-
Mark Gay as well. I mean, even Tyree Mitchell. I mean,
Yeah.
they won't all go, but I think
Eventually,
that eventually probably. But
And I think Hodgson's doing a good job.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I think it's been, I'd say a C. I think
I
it's
agree
kind
with
of been
C.
exactly what you'd expect.
They're
I'd
there.
say.
Crystal Palace
I find
legend.
I don't know, man. I just feel like with Zaha being gone,
I get that in fairness.
I kind of
that's why
get.
it's just like a slither above.
I get the
C.
Zaha thing, but it's just like it's a C. Sorry,
Should we-
I know I'm.
Should we go with a solid C?
I agree with C.
I'm
Okay,
saying a C.
I'll go with the C.
You can
I'll
see
go
it.
Sorry,
Sorry, Palace.
sorry, I didn't realise I was so passionate about
Sorry,
this.
Roy.
But
Roy Hodgson, I tried to back you.
Yeah,
there.
he's crying.
well, I mean, we are back at
Don't be
it.
surprised if he doesn't show up for the next game.
Just sulking.
Fine.
Right, we're going to be moving on to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
This might be controversial for me. I can't lie.
I've got,
I
yeah.
have no idea.
All right, go on.
I've gone B minus.
I went B- as well.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I went B plus.
I've gone for B.
Oh, that's
well,
okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean,
That's not as bad as I
because like we said it earlier, Gary O'Neill didn't have a pre-season.
No.
Nowhere close to. He was hired like 48 hours before he had to play his first game.
Yeah.
And everyone looked at that Wolves team and went, well, there's not many goals
They'd
in
lost
this
Neves.
team. Yeah,
Moutinho as
and
well, yeah.
they lost
They couldn't
Neves,
buy
lost
anyone really,
Moutinho.
like, trying to
Yeah,
spend money like
exactly.
they have done in the past.
And considering how bad going forward they were last season,
Yeah.
like in terms of
Yeah.
the attack, like, and that's something that Gary Neal's come in and improved. Like Juan Chan has been looking really, really good.
I really like
Exactly.
that
He's
team.
like a man
Yeah.
reborn.
Yeah.
Pedro Neto, I know obviously he's
Yeah.
got an injury, but he's
Mateus
looked.
Cunha.
Mateus
But
Cunha's looked very
yeah.
good.
Them
Like
two are
when
really
when
exciting.
when I watched the game against Man United, the first I think that was their their first game.
Yeah.
They played really, really well.
They're the better team, Wolves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were.
They were the
To be
better
honest.
teams in that game. But I was looking at them and thinking, right, is this going to be how they are again this season? Not scoring, but playing well, and that would have been their downfall. Like, I predicted them to be in that relegation battle, and they're not, and they're exceeding
I
expectations.
mean, they beat Man City. You know.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they're one of Man City's bogey teams, Wolves.
Yeah.
Well, Pep's bogey teams.
That's why I love them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Favourite team.
you look at it, they're undefeated in their last 4 games. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
I
sorry,
honestly thought
they're
they could
undefeated
be
in their
relegated.
last 5 Premier League games as
Oh,
well.
wow.
There you go.
So what is
So-
their exact position? Are they in?
They're in 12th.
12th.
12th, yeah. But I think
On
they,
12 points.
yeah, they've got the same amount of points as Chelsea, just it's on goal difference as well.
Oh wow.
That's upsetting.
So-
That's very upsetting.
sobering.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think it's the fact that as well. We've got to mention Gary O'Neill's become like a bona fide Premier League manager. And there's no way to.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone loves
There's
him
no way to
as well.
sugarcoat
He's got
it. Yeah.
Absolute
Well, I think
limbs
also
turning up to the Vitality Stadium and, getting
and
that
winning.
win.
Yeah.
Love those
Limbs,
sort of
honestly.
stories.
I mean, I think because I think everyone was like, we'll see how this goes with Bournemouth. Because he had that result very early on when he became the caretaker, and then for some reason Bournemouth took ages to give him the permanent job, at least for the rest of the season, kind of thing. And then
still
it kind of
don't
just seemed like they never believed in him really.
No.
I
And
would like Gary O'Neill to be built into this, one day successful manager. I don't want him to be someone who, starts at a medium-sized club and makes the jump too early, like a certain.
Graham Potter.
Yeah,
do that.
I was going to say the name, but yeah.
Yeah, no, same. I know.
He slowly makes the move. So obviously he's gone from Bournemouth to Wolves to I don't know where he could go next, like Wolves to Brighton or something.
Honestly, I want
or-
him to just stay there.
Yeah,
just
just
stay
stay
at
with
Wolves
Wolves. Well, I mean, you
stay
look
there,
at
guy.
but I mean, you look at Wolves' structure, and obviously, when they first came into the league with Nuno, and there's definitely there's definitely all the facilities there for them to become a team that can get European places regularly.
And I'm kind of glad that their whole identity of Wolves Club de Portugal is gone now. Like it's slowly dying.
I don't because I kind of like that as not in like a fully, but like I like the kind of balance they've got now, where they've got kind of they've still got what you need in the Premier League, which is players that really know the league and are experienced professionals. But you've also got them kind of really cool techie players as well, which I think is every team
Like
kind
Neo,
of
like-
yeah,
yeah.
they've got like style and like kind of and it's really working well
Honestly,
right now.
just talking about it, I'm wanting to put my score up because they're just like everything
Honestly-
we've said, and they're just such a likable team.
Yeah,
And they're
honestly,
exciting.
I could put them as a B+. Honestly.
There's so many players, individuals in that team that I
Same.
like, and they seem to really be
Yeah,
working together as a
and
core.
you look at again, we'll just
as a
praise
core
up Gary
group.
O'Neill. You look at when he was on like Monday Night Football, the way he kind of speaks about football and everything. You
Yeah.
can see why the players like really are liking him because imagine how tough that must be coming in 48 hours before your first
Yeah, yeah.
game. You don't know anyone,
Seems like a really likable guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the players are bought in immediately.
I'd be
so
willing to push my B- to a B or B+.
I'm
I'd say
saying
a
B+.
Oh, I say B.
B.
They are
B plus.
okay. B+. Fine. I'll
Oh, that is next to an A though.
They are 12.
But-
I've got to
but-
say
I
they
kind
are-
of want to say B.
But
Yeah,
when
I
we're
think B.
when we're looking at because again we're not doing this. Well, I
B
mean,
is still good though.
I'd
Yeah,
say
yeah,
I,
B very
oh,
If I, you get a B in
I
school,
can
you're
I can go
pretty-
to
pretty
I can go
chuffed
for a
with
B then.
Yeah.
I
I see what you mean because it is
'Cause
very
they are
close to an A.
12.
They are still
yeah.
12th in the
It's
league.
an A, being close to
Well,
an A seems a
but-
bit
yeah,
too...
yeah.
But also
Yeah.
considering that many people thought they could
From
get
where they-
relegated.
That's what I'd
Yeah.
say. They could be.
Yeah.
No, I'm back a B.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, here we go.
On to
Here we
our
go.
favourite team,
Here we
right?
go. Here we go.
Now,
Chelsea.
moving on to Chelsea.
F. No, I'm joking.
Well, I mean... okay, now I've gone for an E.
I went D-.
I've gone for a C minus.
C minus?
Yeah, I've also gone for a C minus.
Because
Really?
it's promising. It's been promising.
It's
It's an upgrade from last
it's
season.
it's not right, Ed. I know. Take the
not
like,
that bad.
take the like emotion and like the heart out of it.
Take the Brentford game out of it as well.
Yeah.
But that's in your brain.
You've got to remember
It's-
that I very optimistically predicted Chelsea to finish third.
It's,
That might
no,
be-
no,
Yeah, that
I do.
is
Right,
very
right,
might
right,
be
right.
clouding my
But
judgment
ambitious.
slightly.
again, but I do think that's still like the it. It's not been obviously it's been bad, right? We're not gonna sugarcoat it. It's not been. I mean, a C minus. You wouldn't be happy with that in school
We had
either,
more
you know.
losses than
But from last
wins
season,
or
though.
Right,
draws.
but
From last
but
season.
from
This is
last season, no,
isn't it?
no,
Is it
no.
not?
No. When I've watched Chelsea
in
get
terms of,
no.
in terms of points and results, not in terms of. I know on the
Yes.
pitch it's more promising. I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. Well, of course, but like this is. I feel like the performances matter, especially when you're kind of building a whole new culture and identity.
It's not an overnight change. Like,
No,
you're not gonna just
Like
get third straight
I
away,
know
like-
that obviously, like Chelsea are this big club, but obviously you can't expect them to suddenly go back to the top six
12th
again.
to 4th or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
you look at that team. Like I feel like to kind of almost take Chelsea out of it. Just those 11 players that start, or like the players on the bench. It's not a team that's going to get you in the top 4 right now. Like it's just not. It's like when I see like when people talk about Man United and they go, well, that's not what Man United should do. And I'm like, look at their team. It's not a Man United level team, you know? Get that expectation away kind of thing. And so I think that, look, Chelsea have been, I mean, the results is kind of why I've given it a C-. Honestly, I'd give it a bit higher in terms of what I've seen in terms of the performance.
Yeah.
I think that's been okay. But I just think...
Third in the league, big chances missed. We've missed 20 big
But
chances.
yeah,
But
it
we've
has.
created chances.
It has.
Anything
But
we've
done.
at the
I
same
know,
time,
I
it
think
has not been
Our
great.
XG is pretty good as well.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
I'm very 50-50 about this season. Like, to be fair, the Brentford game, I look at Brentford as just like our bogey team.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Brentford always seem to get the win against us, but also in this period of
Our bogey
such.
team is Brentford.
But the thing is, though,
I
like,
cry.
yeah, but the thing is, though, like, considering how tough our fixtures are, Brentford is the game that we should have.
We need
But
to
it,
get
else.
it
Like,
was.
what's coming up?
You had.
Where could we be at the end of this run?
You had a lot.
First, I'm joking. We'll be like 16.
First.
The thing, because like you had a lot of chances in that Brentford game as well, and like especially early on. But I just
Yeah.
think you kind of like.
We've got such a blunt edge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, and there was the bench. Obviously, I know this is injuries as well, so this isn't fully. But like
Right.
the bench, there was literally no one you could bring on that would give you
I
an
was gonna
attacking
say, the
spark.
injuries thing does count.
The injuries
I
thing
know,
does
yeah.
count.
Red and Kunku, James, Lavia.
Honestly,
Chilwell,
that kind of
William
makes me
Player.
question what's going on
And-
behind the scenes.
But
Why
then,
are so many players?
but
Where's
coming
half
well,
the team
I
injured?
would
Yeah.
I would say this as someone Poch does train his players very very hard, and Spurs had a lot of injuries when he was the manager there. Now I'm not saying that 2 and 2, 2 and 2 makes 4, but he does
It does.
he does train the players very well. No,
Yeah.
I'm not putting it fully, because a lot of factors go into
I'm
what you
just so
get.
disappointed
It also
by-
depends on the type of injuries. If you're getting soft tissue injuries, that's more
Yeah.
on the coach. Whereas if it's kind of injuries like a broken leg or something, well then
What can you do?
what
To
can
be
you
fair,
do?
like looking at all our games, like beating Burnley and Luton, I don't really look much at that. No disrespect to them.
We should win
Exactly.
that game.
Really positive about Fulham. Like I think,
Yeah.
I rate Fulham, and I positive about us beating Fulham. But the games I've been most happy with are the draws against Arsenal and Liverpool.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially, I feel like, obviously, I know the first game of the season can kind of be an outlier at times, but that Liverpool game and that performance is very, very impressive. And the Arsenal game was very impressive. I think it's kind of almost like Chelsea have played to the level of their competition a bit in a way.
Maybe.
Apart from the Luton and Burnley games, obviously, you smashed them.
I don't know,
Yeah.
when it
But
comes to expectations of Chelsea at the minute, now I know I need to sober my expectations, but like, I'm fine with us losing to the big teams, but that when we lose to like Nottingham Forest,
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
that's
that
got-
that was
that-
poor.
and
Yeah.
our home form is so terrible.
Yeah.
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 We
Yeah.
we
I
no
mean-
longer have a fortress whatsoever, and it's just, I don't know. That's why I think that maybe it was a passionate E.
That was a very
And
passionate.
I'll be honest, I really don't want to put them in C. I don't think it can be a C.
I mean,
I agree.
I can
because
give.
within the bracket of C, I feel like it's average, right? But like, I think we are below average.
No,
I agree.
But Ed,
no,
you have to,
no,
you have
but
to remember, like we were 12th last season. Like that's the thing.
Yeah. we're
yeah,
gonna be
no, but
12th.
Ed, look at the like
After
the
this run,
results.
I mean.
The results are the epitome of average. I don't think Chelsea have been below average. Sorry, I'd say they've been exactly average almost.
Yeah,
But I'm giving it the C- because it's Chelsea. That is the Chelsea bit. I feel like that doesn't need to be brought into the equation.
I can do
I
a
think-
D.
I think-
I'll go D plus as I think the highest I can go.
I agree with that. D+.
I just
What did you
can't.
have in this
I just
year?
can't say that.
D minus.
Yeah, but I can push it to a D+.
I just can't see that
Because
personally.
D plus is like disappointing, but
But
They're
I
average.
fit.
Just below average, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
No, but
slightly
I think
below.
Chelsea have been about average though.
Should we do the D
money.
plus C minus?
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna have to do that,
Yeah.
yeah, because there's no way we're breaking this deadlock. But I'd say Chelsea have been.
I just can't put them in C, man. I just can't.
Oh, I mean, fair enough.
I just think you have to be like you need to remember
last season.
how we were last
Yeah.
season. Like it's not going to be I mean, to be fair, in
I do agree with that.
15, 16, 16, 17, it was an instant turnaround.
But you had a much better squad back
We
then.
said,
Oh, yeah,
like,
true.
Costas, Hazard. all
I was
that,
gonna
yeah.
say,
Yeah.
there's no. I mean, well, we don't know what Nkunku could be, but apart from him, there's no one like that in your team. You'd say right now.
No.
Ballon d'Or winner.
I don't even know if I picked that up, but.
I hope it is.
I think it did.
Okay, alright.
Alright, let's move on.
Right, we're going into Brentford now, into the top 10.
I feel like I've been a bit harsh with this one.
I've given them a C plus.
Oh, so have I.
Yeah, okay, that's
So
not
I-
harsh, I'd say.
B minus.
Oh, I've given them a B minus as
I
well.
can-
C plus, C
Back- back
B
at
minus.
I think they've been a little bit disappointing to what they could have been.
But then without Tony.
See, that's yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what my thinking was.
Without Tony, they've been
Average
better
okay.
than I thought they
Yeah,
were.
yeah,
I-
they're 10 plus C
They're
plus.
been okay. This is their
Without
third.
Tony,
This is
they've been
their
alright.
Yeah.
third or fourth season in the Prem now. Third.
Third,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Like that, like considering how they're still in the Premier League is good, and they've still hold on to Thomas Frank as the manager is is decent. Like they've lost their two best players. Obviously, Tony is out for being a naughty boy, and then I kind of lost words there. And then obviously David Raya has gone
David
to
Raya,
Yeah, and
Arsenal.
Raya.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's why, for what they're doing without those two, arguably two of their best players.
Agreed.
That's why I give them a
Yeah,
C plus.
I mean,
Just
you
above-
look
just a little bit above
at their form as well. They've got 2 wins on the bounce. I think some of their Flecken's been really good. Some of their signs, Wissa's been very good. I've really liked him so far. Mbuemo's really starting to come on.
starting to take the mantle.
Yeah, he really is starting to take that mantle. And more pays. He's not been great, but I think he could regenerate something potentially.
I love how me and Michael have given them lower ratings, but you two
Well, you
have
don't
been more
argue for it to be
positive.
higher, yeah.
Yeah.
Your thing started out with, I've been a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean,
to be fair, I think I probably would go down to a C plus just because.
Yeah, I can kind of see it personally. You have talked me around a bit, but I would say it's more like I'd say the C plus is more on that Brentford haven't been very consistent. The highs have been
Yeah.
very high, but the lows have been
Another
low.
team that's gone under the radar as well.
Yeah, agreed. They have gone
don't
under the
get
radar
of
quite a
talk
lot.
in the media or whatever.
Yeah.
C plus, I can.
Should we agree with C plus?
C plus, yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
Right, we're going to move on to West Ham United. I don't know why I'm giving them full names, but it says it in my notes here, so we'll do it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Professional, yeah, got him.
I've given West Ham a B, but
Okay.
I can be flexible with this.
I gave him a B minus.
B.
I feel like I've been a bit harsh, and I've gone C plus.
See, I'm honestly, I can be flexible with this one.
It-
I think
it's-
Yeah, I'm very flexible between B and B minus.
Yeah,
to be fair,
It's because West Ham have again. It's kind of like what I was saying. Like the highs have been very high for West Ham. I think they've been really really good. At the same time, they've literally lost 2 on the bounce. They've conceded 17 goals, which is the most in the top half.
Wow.
So they've been a bit leaky in defence. They have scored 16 goals. We've got to mention that as well. But it's I don't know. It's over a whole season. I think obviously they've got Europe this year, so I think that is going to kind of.
Yeah.
I did predict that would impact the league form a bit, and I think it is starting to
but
probably.
it's just I just consider that a lot of people thought that West Ham were going to be doing much worse. Like obviously they didn't have a good season last season, apart
Rice has
from
gone
the
as well.
apart from
Rice has
apart from the
gone.
Conference League, and obviously Rice has gone. I mean, I really like Ward-Prowse as a replacement. I think he's
Agreed.
to be fair, he's gone quiet recently, but
He has gone quite a bit recently. But Edson Alvarez has been really good as well
Yeah.
in that midfield. I think they've definitely kind of been a blueprint for how you should replace a star player, and that you get 1 or 2 in the same position. That like they've got 2 different kind of midfielders.
and also I think they should stick with David Moyes. Like I think.
yeah.
100%. I think there's no. I mean,
Like I think he's doing really well with them. Like a lot of I've seen a lot of West Ham fans unhappy with him. And it's-
Really?
no.
What are the grounds for that?
That's surprising.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are the grounds for
I don't know.
that? You've just won a European trophy. I mean, he's made. I mean, obviously it's not all on him, but he's made Jarrod Bowen one. He's like a proper player now.
They're
I mean,
great
like
in Europe, they beat Chelsea 3-1.
I was going to say, yeah.
Brighton 3-1 away from home, and
Yeah.
very
It-
convincing.
that was a very convincing win as well.
I mean, Bowen's playing great.
I was gonna- yeah.
Keta's having his best
Oh,
season.
obviously,
so far,
it was
Areola's
the
been
most
very good in goal.
The most recent game was the most disappointing one.
I was
Yeah,
going to say,
Um,
I think I've got a bit of recency bias in some of them, and I think that would be one of them as well, the West Ham. But
That's where maybe that's.
yeah, I mean, I can go to B minus because some of the highs
Okay, yeah.
they've been
So I think,
really good.
They had Premier League football and European football last year as well, but that did affect their league
That's
form.
true.
But this season it isn't.
Well,
affecting their league
I think it has a bit most recently,
I think
but
it's
not
because-
at the start of the
Well,
year.
very recently.
Definitely been
Yeah,
better
very
than
recently.
expectations as well. So
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I can give a
B
B
minus.
minus.
B minus?
I can give a
B
B
minus?
minus. Yeah,
Cool.
Brilliant.
Cool.
perfect. Right now we're moving on to Manchester United. I feel like this will also be relatively similar for everyone in a way.
Yeah, I've given them an E minus.
I gave them an E.
D plus.
Wow. Okay. I've given them a C minus. So
Oh, that's quite high.
Well, only slightly worse than like expectations, you'd say.
what?
They've done a lot worse.
I would say so as well.
Yeah.
I think E is a little dramatic.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think. Well,
I'm trying to make this interesting.
I mean, I respect
Throwing in the
it.
big-
Yeah. It is everyone's opinion at the end of the day.
But like they would have really they would expect to be top 4 based on
After
the
last season, yeah, winning the
I know that they've had external issues, but like
they're awful.
they're
not even.
they're
So awful.
bad.
Like
Their identity has gone out the window. Like I mean, their most recent game against City, they were just like convincingly dispatched.
Oh yeah, no, but then you look at
3-0. It could have been
Oh
way more than.
yeah,
Onana had a great game.
but you look
for
at
once,
yeah,
and, you know,
you look at this though.
something more.
The first again, what I was saying that the first half of Man United wasn't that bad. Now I'm not saying
it wasn't good though.
No, I thought at times were the better team. I thought they had a decent first half. Now the second, what was Ten Hag thinking at half time, taking off Amrabat? That's got to be one of the worst substitutions in like. That's right up there with Nuno taking off Lucas Moura and bringing on Bergwijn in that match.
If he hasn't gone by Christmas, I'll be surprised.
There's no because it's not even it's at this point.
And that's so disappointing. Ten Hag was meant to be there, sort of. No, you know, he's not going to be Klopp, he's not going to be Guardiola, but he was meant to be there for a long time and put his stamp on this team.
Yeah.
And we're looking at him potentially being out.
Well, no, but
And I've got a stat for everyone.
Go on.
So in the 10 years without Ferguson, they have equalled the amount of losses that Ferguson ever did at Man United.
Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah.
So it's crazy to think how low they've become.
I mean, like just when you look at it, like it's been bad. You know what? Maybe I've been
mediocre.
Maybe I've been too high.
Goals per match 1.1. That puts them 12th in the rest of the league. Expected goals 14, 11th in the rest of the league. Shots on target per match 10th. They're so painfully average.
They don't have an identity.
There's no clinical edge in that team whatsoever.
And like you look at this is what I think like Ten Hag's lost the dressing room as well. Like when you look at in his interview before the game, obviously he started Johnny Evans over Varane.
Yeah.
And I believe like Reguilon was fit for the bench, but he didn't start either. And they ask him, and he goes like, "Oh, it's purely tactical." What tactical reason is there to play Johnny Evans over Varane? There's no tactical reason.
I think Erik ten Hag is such a toxic personality. Like he needs to go. Like he obviously, I rate him as a manager, but I just think he needs to go. Like he's such a toxic personality. He's lost his dressing room.
You know, we talk about these external issues. Oh, they can't help it. Actually, you know what? Their external issues they've handled terribly as well.
Yeah.
So that's why you know what? Yeah, I'm going to stick with it.
No, do you know?
There's also the whole takeover.
In the Champions League.
There's also the takeover stuff as well. Like we don't know what the future of Man United, whether the Jim Ratcliffe.
Jim Ratcliffe, yeah.
Whether he'll
They're
get
on the
stage.
road to nowhere. Where are you going?
I was going to say.
Where are you going?
No, do you know what? I think I can back like a D+. Honestly.
Catastrophic. Honestly. And their signings of like Mount has been.
No, you look at. There was a whole. There was. there was a whole list like that Sky Sports. I mean, how much have they paid for Anthony? It's such a bad signing. You know.
I know.
I mean, I'd say. Like the only one they've spent a lot, and even like Rasmus Højlund's probably a bad buy. He looks decent, but the amount of money, 75 million.
In the Premier League,
he doesn't have a goal yet.
He is a weird one. He hasn't scored or assisted, but he
looks good.
No, he looks good.
Yeah.
I'd say he's had a promising start, and if Arsenal had spent 75 million on him, you'd go, it looks like a savvy buy. But it's like Man United need to know what position they're in. If you're going to spend that amount of money, you need to spend it on a proven commodity.
Exactly. He had those stats. He didn't. No, he was at Atalanta before, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't really have those big stats.
No,
at
I mean
Atalanta.
he's so young.
Why sign him for that so much money?
I was going to say, why do that? It's like if you have 75 million, go out there and get like a Benzema or like a Lewandowski level striker in terms of like proven commodity.
If you've got that money and you're willing to
exactly.
Scott McTominay is their biggest goal threat.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit. Scott McTominay has been looking really decent.
But he was only played. But again, Ten Hag didn't. He was kind of only played there out of injuries. They wanted him gone because he couldn't play through the lines in midfield. Ten Hag just goes, "We'll stick him at number 10. We'll try something."
This is E.
You know.
No,
do you know what?
I said E-, but okay, but it's definitely E. Like,
the more we've
E+
talked about it,
max.
I think an E is. I think an E can.
And if anyone's
confer.
Chelsea doing well, I wanted to give Chelsea an E as well. So
I mean, the only argument you'd have against it is is they've got 5 wins.
The only
But
argument,
then the losses are so bad.
the only argument is that the teams above them are decent. Like that's But they are 8th. They are in a shambles. They're on the road to nowhere. Their players are playing terribly.
But to be fair, like every game they've played, they've looked poor in every single game, even their wins.
Yeah. Because like Wolves,
Brentford, right?
Wolves.
Wolves, yeah.
Who did they get the late win against recently?
Did you say Burnley? Has Burnley been said?
Brentford, I think it was, wasn't it?
They've also
Brentford
straight to
as
1-0
well.
win against
Yeah,
Burnley.
Bruno scored,
Yeah.
But can you also give credit? Can you also
McTominay.
give credit for those late wins?
You can, but
Yeah,
when you have
but-
so many of them, I think it's questionable.
Of course,
It is
yeah,
like
but when
United
you
as
get to a
well,
certain point, it's
Because like a dominant team, a dominant team will win convincingly, and then they'll have an off game, and then they can scrape it, and they don't play well, but they get their last minute winners. Cool.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
you're doing it, when that's
Every game.
when every time you win,
Every game,
it's
yeah.
that,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
cagey. That's not a good thing.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
can't go higher than E. E plus maybe.
Yeah, I'm saying no. I'm saying E or E minus for me. Like
I
straight
just-
up.
I
And
just-
it's not an F. I'm not giving them an F.
What are you?
I can't back it. I can't. I don't know.
Do an
I-
E plus.
I could
What would you say then, Sam?
D
Go on.
minus probably.
Can we?
Well, then we'd have to go.
Shall we
I think
put
E
E-
plus.
E plus?
Can
D
E
minus.
plus satisfy everyone?
I can. I'm
Okay.
satisfied.
Okay.
Because I think it can. I can't lie. The more I've talked about it, I think I kind of just had them in 6 because they're in 8th. But it's like when you look at everything as a whole,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Terrible, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, Brighton. Up next. Brighton and Hove Albion.
All right, Brighton. I've given them a B.
I have a B plus, but I could. I'm
I've given him a
flexible.
C plus.
Yeah, I've given Brighton a B, but I think I'm already disagreeing with my own decision.
What are
Same.
you thinking? You want to go?
Because I want to go
or
lower.
higher?
I want to go lower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Actually.
I think that
I'd be willing to.
they've kind of struggled as of late.
Yeah.
And like,
Way below expectations.
I wouldn't say way below expectations. I think this is kind
Okay.
of about what people expect.
Maybe I'll take other way. I'll take other way.
Below
I'll tell you what, they've
expectations,
had
yeah.
a very leaky defence, right? So
I was gonna
they
say,
get
yeah.
an average of 1.9 goals per game, which puts them 16th in the league for that particular stat. And that hammering at Villa.
6-1.
I love
Yeah.
these stats, Ed. Loving these stats.
Yeah,
Ed.
Yeah.
Done your research.
I like, they've conceded 19 goals. That's a lot of
That's the
goals.
bit, they've got a really leaky
Seventh.
defence, but their attack has been good.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
on 30 goals per match.
Luton have conceded 20 to put that into perspective.
One more,
Wow,
geez.
that
So
is-
they've only
Okay,
conceded
that's-
one less than Luton.
Okay, I want to learn.
And they've had some really bad games, like obviously the 6-1 against
Yeah.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, I mean the West Ham game was
Like,
really bad as well, and that was at
true.
home as well.
It feels like when they do lose, they
Lose really badly.
Lose badly.
Yeah.
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 Who did they play
That-
recently? It was against Fulham, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Drew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not
That's not a good result as well,
was
especially
not a good result.
especially when you look at that was Fulham in the middle of the
To be
Chelsea
fair,
and
they had a
Spurs
good-
games. Which
even though they lost,
not on a good
they had
run.
a good game against City. Even
They
though
did have a
they
good game
lost,
against
they had a
City.
good
Yeah, they
game.
did
And
have a
let's
good
not
game.
forget they're
against
playing in European football for the
Yeah.
first time. So, for example, when we use the West Ham example,
We've got to use that for West Ham. Yeah.
They'd been in Europe before.
That last season,
This is
yeah.
Brighton's first ever time in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean I could like when
And
I
they
say
are still 7th.
yeah, when I say go down.
It hasn't been bad.
Yeah,
but, like,
exactly. When I say go down, because it sounds like we're being
It's been
really
hot and
negative.
cold.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like we're being. It sounds like we're being really
But
negative.
it's because
on
they still
Brighton.
have that quality and they should still be going. I think they should still be pushing.
But a lot of fixture congestion, to be fair to them.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah, I think it's.
Hot and cold.
No, do you know what? I'm looking at it back again. Actually, I maybe can agree with a B.
B or B
But
minus.
yeah,
I said B initially, but I can go to a B minus.
I can go to a B minus, but I think it's more on recent form
Yeah.
that that's coming. Because like the start of the year could have honestly been like an A for me,
fine.
but
Yeah,
then
but
like
they shouldn't be losing 6-1 to Villa though.
oh yeah, that is a terrible result. Yeah.
I don't know if that's just. Like,
No, but,
you
like,
blame that on their
sit-
style of football, but like, well, you shouldn't. There shouldn't be.
No, but like, surely,
you shouldn't
because
lose
I
that
swear
bad.
they went in at like 3-0 down. Surely, with your De Zerbi at that point, you go, look, lads, let's try not to concede like 3 more goals. Let's just try and like sharp shot.
There's got to be like a plan B.
In it, yeah.
And
Like,
their goalkeeper situation isn't great either.
Also-
They both take goals.
well, yeah, that's
Also,
true.
Chelsea have given them so much money. What are you doing with it? Like,
Yeah.
No,
obviously,
no.
I rate
Things
the
like that goes into
I rate the
towards
recruitment.
scouting.
I rate the recruitment, right?
I don't think you can have a go at the recruitment.
No, I do rate the recruitment, but the thing is, though, where are they need that? They're still struggling with the depth.
I agree with Sam to a certain degree. Like, if you want to push to the next level, yes, continue to fund your scouting system or whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but
But
do
sign those already
bring
proven
some
players.
household names in, bring some squad depth in, and you can take.
Well,
it to the
but
next
in a
level.
way
if
you
you
could
don't
say-
do that, then you're just maintaining.
But
that.
they've got like they brought in Milner, they brought in Dahoud.
Like Fatty as well. Like,
Yeah,
they're, like, big
Fatty.
To be
teams.
fair, really rate Fassi. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy Gilmore has been brought in recently as well. I know that was last year, but
Yeah.
he's kind
Yeah,
of really coming to the squad
True.
this year.
I'd like to see a bit more. I reckon the next big sign for them would have to be somewhere in the defence.
Well, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
a goalkeeper.
a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
What kind of when you guys say depth, do you mean like I just kind of like what
Because
kind of
they're in
players would you
Europe.
say?
Because they're in Europe.
They
for the
are in
first
Europe,
time.
fair enough.
They need to have the rotation.
Okay. Yeah.
And for me, at the moment, looking at so they've got how do you say his name for Bruggen?
Yeah.
Verbruggen
Goalie.
and
Steele.
Steele.
Yeah.
Okay,
as
the
their options for
goalie.
goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
That
not right,
does need
like-
to be updated. I can't lie.
And obviously, there's some defence. They lack some defence as
Like Milner
well.
right back in City is not what you want to do. Like
No.
Milner against Doku is just not You shouldn't
Well,
have
yeah.
them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
That is.
should be illegal.
It's literally illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think B minus. I think
I
is fair
agree,
enough.
I agree
Yeah,
with that.
Do we all?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Right now we're moving on to Newcastle.
Newcastle, I gave them
Newcastle.
a B minus.
Give them a B.
I gave them a B.
This is gonna be I've given them an A minus.
A minus.
But well, right, because this is when I looked at Brighton. Was like, actually, I'm not, because they literally have the exact same win, draws, and losses. So like it is, and like so you could be like, well, this is just clearly like recency bias. But Newcastle kind of like they've looked so good recently,
Yeah.
and like
But also a couple of
Start-
times they haven't looked
I'd
good.
say start of the year was a little bit
start of the year was
patchy,
shaky, right?
Yeah.
I see. This is where again I'm like kind of looking on things a lot or like recently. Start of the year was very shaky.
In fairness,
But they've come
they
through
had
it well.
3-game loss streak, but that was to City, Liverpool, and Brighton. So
Yeah,
You can't, yeah.
you can't really
can't
blame that.
necessarily
As
fault
much.
them on that.
Yeah, and then it's 8-0 against
Champions League
Sheffield
football.
United.
True.
Yeah,
I think the one thing they'll be disappointed about is now there is a 5-point gap between 5th and 6th.
Mm.
So they're in 6th, and Villa are in
Fifth.
5th with 22 points. They're on 17. That is,
Yeah.
considering they came
Yeah.
4th last season, they won't be happy with that.
No.
But, yeah, but that's why I still gave them above a C though. Yeah. 'cause,
Yeah, definitely.
You know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think-
the Tonali situation.
well, yeah,
have
we're
to
gonna
deal
see
with
how
that.
that plays out. Obviously, 'cause they've
They will be very disappointed with Tonali. Like
Oh.
Tonali, you've come into a new team and you've done what you've done. It's
well, I think wasn't
They've
he
been stiff
has
by Milan, that's
hasn't
all.
it
Oh, yeah, yeah.
hadn't he
Milan-
already done
Milan-
it before they signed him?
Now it
Yes.
makes sense.
Oh,
why
yeah, true, but
Milan
like-
is
Yeah.
willing to
Yeah.
offload him.
Because actually, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So
Is there
maybe
some?
that was
Do you think there's something in? Because obviously, should they know about that before they signed him? Really? Should there be
Yeah,
due
they
diligence
Well,
done?
what else could they have done to have found out? About
Well,
it?
but I
I
mean,
don't
like
know, yeah.
when
Yeah.
when they make people like president and stuff,
Honestly,
they look
I-
through every single bit of their
I
life.
thought
Like
it
they're
was
gonna find
suspicious
that.
Milan was so willing. To
Exactly.
let him go.
They should know. They should. Well, yeah. Obviously, Milan. It makes sense why they're willing to let him go
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
you
now it
know.
does.
Yeah. So I mean, like clearly, someone knew somewhere.
But yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
I don't think there's any signs to worry though. If you're
No.
Yeah.
If anything, I think that they
That'd
could.
be something, I think, to be honest.
But also, I'm starting
Yeah.
to see a little, like, I'm starting to see Newcastle lose their identity a bit. Like, I don't know where they're planning on going. You know, like, are they aiming to win the league eventually? Are they aiming to?
Surely.
Eventually.
Yeah. Well, but
I
look
think-
at
a few
years,
no,
though.
but look
think
at
it will be
there's
like
such
a
a few years.
long
Look at
way.
look at City when they first got the money. Like they didn't immediately become title
Yeah.
contenders.
No,
This
of
is
course.
everyone's kind of retroactively put that in. They
Plus,
took.
yeah.
I remember when they got like 5th, and like especially early on, they got like they had like Robinho. They had some stinker transfers, and it took them a while to kind of
Yeah,
get
no,
the
of
formula
course.
down.
Well, Newcastle
Newcastle
aren't- yeah.
have done a much better job than what Man City did
Because
at
their
the beginning.
success has been faster.
Exactly.
I mean-
and you could also say it's like the recruitment's been really savvy, which is weird when you have so much money. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Kieran Trippier buy is so good, and it's like not
Isaac's
someone you'd
looking
expect.
I know.
class. love
I know.
Isaac. He's one of my favourite
Yeah,
non-Chelsea
Yeah,
players, isn't he?
Bruno Guimaraes has been a hell of a player.
Yeah.
Even Dan
You know what
Burn,
else?
like,
It's not even just like these players are.
Callum
there's so much
Callum
quality in
Wilson
them, but
as
they're
well.
also so passionate about the club.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's-
Dan
yeah.
Burn has looked
And even a lot of
Yeah.
players,
Incredible.
and even a couple of players who were in that Steve Bruce era have become,
Have become
good again.
good, yeah.
Jacob Murphy's like
Fabian,
Fabian,
Jacob
Fabian,
Murphy, yeah.
Fabian,
Fabian Schär as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
like he was on the bench last season a lot. And
Yeah.
yeah. So
But also, they're not going to win anything as long as Pep's around though.
No.
Well, I mean,
so this will be after he's gone.
not yeah. Well, yeah, obviously.
yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
they're gonna. I mean, how long? The Saudis are probably gonna own Newcastle for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's a long term thing.
yeah, I was gonna say this is a very long term thing. I'd say it's almost not like I'd say about you're losing Newcastle's identity. Like, what was their identity before?
true, but yeah, that's yeah. I
I'd
guess
say
so,
I'd say it's almost a good thing. Like they kind of become. I kind of look at Newcastle now as this probably like big team that should be challenging
Yeah.
for like Champions Leagues and stuff.
And I mean,
yeah, and that's why I gave
Well,
them
Champions
a B.
League places, not Champions
Yeah,
League.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
That's why I gave them a B because I think they should be pushing better.
I think
To be honest.
and I mean, let's mention that 8-0 win. I mean, average teams
Yeah.
aren't beating teams 8-0 like you are.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I can go to a B plus, but I'd say no lower than that for
So
me.
I'll do B or B plus. I don't mind.
Yeah, same. B or B plus.
B plus.
I think
Okay.
B
Yeah.
plus, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa.
So my first A is awarded to Aston Villa.
Is it just a straight A?
Yeah, it's just a normal A.
Just a normal A,
Yeah.
okay.
I went A plus.
I also went A plus.
I also went A plus.
Okay, I'll say it's a bit higher,
I'll
but
say A
yeah.
plus.
No, it's I mean, of the three teams, Brighton, Newcastle, and Villa that got Europe that are kind of like a bit different. And West Ham, you could put them in there as well. Obviously, they didn't get it through league position, got it through winning the Conference League. I thought they were going to struggle the most, just because they kind of, they didn't have the depth. I thought some of the signings were a bit risky. I mean, like they got Longley and on loans, that kind of thing.
I mean, that is dodgy.
That is dodgy, in fairness. But they've just all of a sudden come on this amazing run.
Yeah, of the promising teams that are like
Won 4 of their last 5.
Yeah, the teams that are looking to like break the establishment, like the traditional top 6. They like you said, they have been the best. I mean,
they've looked the best of all of them, and Newcastle as well. I didn't mention them.
Yeah.
They've looked. I'd say they've looked better than Newcastle this year as well.
They're
Like-
in 5th with a 5-point gap.
I know. And also, people remember that Aston Villa got thrashed on their first game of the season. And I remember was it 6-1 to Newcastle?
I think it was 5-1.
5-1 to Newcastle.
5-1, yeah.
And I remember watching it, I was thinking, have I wrongly predicted them? Are they going to be doing worse than I thought?
Yeah.
Is Emery going to start losing it? But they haven't. They've just gone up,
And they've slapped it. Like they've won 3-0, 4-1.
I was going to say, yeah,
They've
6-1
looked-
against Brighton.
team.
They really have.
They look
Yeah.
terrifying, and
They put
also,
Arsenal.
what a signing Diaby has been.
I was going to say
Oh,
Diaby
yeah,
has
he
been
had to get
incredible.
mentioned, didn't he?
Leon
He's
Bailey's.
everything Leon Bailey should have
been.
when they
When they signed him.
first
Yeah.
season.
But Leon Bailey's kind of come around as well. He's looked
Yeah.
good. Douglas Luiz is looking class as well.
Yeah.
But their team is just class. Their team is just
They've got to
class.
hold on
Yeah.
to these players. I
Yeah.
really don't want them to lose them to big teams like Arsenal or whatever in the transfer windows. How hard that will be.
But I think
really
that
want
would.
them to keep
I
them.
think that would be quite. I mean, they're definitely. You can't say. Obviously, this is only a quarter of the way through the season, but you can't say that right now they're not in like the Champions League places fun. You just can't say
Well, they're
like.
they're putting off
yeah,
it.
they're in.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
1
right.
point off it. If they got in the Champions League, I don't think any of those players are going anywhere.
At the start, I was critical for them signing these big names because seeing what happened with Coutinho, like it just didn't turn out well at all. But they've been ambitious and it's worked.
It's going well. so far,
And
yeah.
and Emery's doing really well.
I think
I was
people are
gonna say.
optimistic for Aston Villa going season, but they've even exceeded.
They've exceeded
optimistic
what?
expectations.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like even the most optimistic expectations, I don't think had them looking like this. And I think it's not just the results; it's the manner of the results.
Yeah, that's like we said, they are top in goals per match average with 2.6.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I mean they've scored joint with Newcastle as well. They've scored
Yeah.
the most goals in the league. Obviously, 6-1 kind of skews it a bit, but still, I mean
Still,
that's
yeah,
against Brighton as
they've
well. That's
scored
not
the goals, yeah.
that's not like an 8-0 against bottom of the league, Sheffield United.
It's against a fellow good team.
It's against a fellow good team. Yeah, I mean, we gave Brighton a
B-.
We gave Brighton a B-. So
Yeah.
they're a
Aston Villa have got such a great core. They've got a great goalkeeper.
yeah.
So we-
Emi Martinez as well. We've not even mentioned him.
Yeah.
Watkins up top's playing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we agree with a?
I'm saying A. I'm saying
Yeah,
A plus. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go A+.
Cool.
Definitely.
Right. We're gonna moving into Liverpool now, into the top 4.
Liverpool, I might change mine right. No, I'll stick with it. I'll go B-.
Oh.
Oh.
I gave them an A.
I've given them a solid A.
I've given them a B plus.
From start of the season, everyone was like Europa League team. Like they've been solid.
I think
Liverpool's good.
I'm kind of judging my own expectations here because
Yeah.
I was outrageous with my Liverpool prediction. Michael was there.
Can you remind me?
Yeah. Should we? You remind
go on.
remind the group.
I said that the sentence that Jurgen Klopp would be gone by December. So
oh my god.
And then
And-
one game
You
so
weren't the
far.
only one. Like, people would talk about Klopp's 7-year.
yeah.
Yeah, the Dortmund reason fell off. Yeah.
They've just continued the rhythm of having a good season every other season, and they're on that season where it's
Yeah.
good.
Mind you, they've changed the whole midfield.
Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
Still-
And Zobolai's looked really good. Like what
He's so good,
fantastic
yeah.
signing.
I thought Szoboszlai's looked very good.
Completely revamped.
I
Like it's,
Yeah.
it's completely
Literally,
different
yeah,
identity.
yeah.
You know, Salah's like one of the only remaining key figures along with Van Dijk.
Well, yeah. I mean,
And Alisson, yeah.
Yeah, you look at almost the whole team. It's like a whole
Yeah.
they're saying Liverpool 2.0. It literally is that in terms of.
Yeah.
That's why
Like-
B is good.
And to be fair, I don't know if that's a good thing, but like Van Dijk is now not even like the standout player anymore.
Yeah.
He used to be.
I'd say it is a good thing because I think like what you want in a centre back partnership is you don't want one who's clearly better than the other.
No.
Because I think the better one centre back is, the better the other
Yeah.
one does. You don't want to be cleaning each other's messes up. You want to just be like locked down in there.
I said the reason I give.
I think
them,
you've seen that with Romero at Spurs as well,
Yeah.
with Van de Ven coming in. When he's next to like a Dyer or a Sanchez, he's got to be kind of like, dealing with their problems as well as
He's
his
got to
own.
sweep it up.
Yeah. Whereas like now, Van de Ven, he can deal with his own problems,
I think the reason I gave them a B and not an A is just because like for me, there's still Liverpool, and Liverpool will always have high expectations going into the season. I always think they're going to do well, so that's why I think I've given them like a B instead of an A. I
just didn't expect Liverpool to play this well so far. I don't know why. Like, obviously, I was very pessimistic about them, but also I was considering like what they had around them. Like, obviously, I thought United would be doing much better. I thought Tottenham would be doing much. Well, sorry, not Tottenham. Been doing
I
much
was going to say, we'll get on to that.
It's impossible. No. Listen, they've got like Tottenham, Arsenal, City, United, and Newcastle around them, and I thought Liverpool would be the weakest in that conversation.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. Yeah.
And they've exceeded those expectations.
I think the more we're talking about it, I can go to like an A-.
But
I do think, obviously, I know there was the VAR in the game, you know, but like
The game.
yeah, in the Spurs game,
The game of
yeah,
all games.
we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
you know, that was a loss to a potential, you know, I don't know, top four rival
I'm
at
interested.
least.
I'm interested to know what puts it down to a B for you guys.
Well,
Just that
I was a
always
B
expect
plus.
Liverpool to be in the title race. I always expect Liverpool are going to be in and amongst it. So it's not like
With the likes of this City and Arsenal.
I was a B plus.
honestly.
Well,
Like
we'll
around
get onto
third, fourth,
we'll
but
get
like-
onto City next. For
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
I just think that Liverpool. I'd say the reason it's a B plus for me is that I think other teams will look better. So I am judging it agast other teams, which
Yeah,
I've not.
easy
But
for that as
other
well,
teams
yeah,
have
yeah,
looked
yeah,
better. You wouldn't go to Liverpool and say they haven't. I don't think they've looked like the first or the second best team in the league this year.
No, I just think they've been doing
There's an
as
argument
good as
for
they
third,
possibly
but-
can. That's
Yeah.
that's my thing.
I say A minus.
I can go with A minus. I can go with A minus.
Yeah, A minus?
No more than that though.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, we're moving on to big Manchester City now.
I've given City my favourite team. I've given them a C minus.
I gave him a B, just a B.
B plus.
I've given them a B plus.
Oh, okay.
C minus.
C minus is outrageous.
That's
Why is that outrageous?
outrageous.
That
is
No,
Why
that
is that
is
outrageous?
so harsh.
It's City. We
I
expect
thought-
them to. Well,
What, you
no,
expect them to
everyone
win
expects
every single game?
What? So you
Because
expect?
see, Pep Guardiola is such a serial winner. There is that expectation that they'd be winning.
So you're expecting them to
Not
be
e-
10-0-0.
Yeah.
Guys.
That's what you're saying.
Huh?
That's what you're saying. You expect them to win every single game.
This is the City. That we
No,
have come
they've
to know.
never won every
Genuinely.
single game of the league. So how can you
They have
expect
little
that?
blips every year.
Yeah,
like-
they lost
do.
5 games last
The
year.
reason I've given them a C minus, they've lost 2 games. They're missing De Bruyne's creativity, and whenever Rodri isn't playing, they look a little bit shaky. And I mean, C minus is like only slightly below where they'd want to be. If you
No,
ask Pep
C
Guardiola-
minus is outrageous.
C minus is
Pep Guardiola-
outrageous.
Pep
There's
Guardiola
no
will
way.
always just want to be top. And they're
I
top.
thought like B plus was showing that they've had a bit of a rocky start.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah, I
I've
thought
not
B
been
was
that.
harsh, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I
Well,
thought like
this is why
that's not.
If it's based on expectations, C is like you are doing.
Well,
what I
yeah,
expect.
but-
That's why they're just like a slither below.
But C minus isn't a slither because if they were doing what you'd expect, you give them an A plus. So it's not slither below. It's a massive
if you
gap.
do what, for me, it's like
Ed,
if
your
you
heart
do-
is so making this grade. I swear.
If you do as I'm expecting you to, you're a C.
But like,
That's
No.
If,
What more could they
but
do,
like
though?
people have different.
So
opinions
if they
on
were
their grading.
first in the league, you give them a C.
yeah.
That's what you're
Honestly,
saying.
Yes.
Really?
How?
I would. No, okay. I C? No. Slightly above a C. Yeah.
No, but
Because I expect it.
No, I get what you
No,
mean.
Because it's Man City.
yeah, but like you would give them an A plus because they've been the best team in the league. That's kind of how it goes,
Yeah.
you know.
I think people have different criteria for how they grade things.
Well, yeah, obviously.
That's fair enough.
Clearly, we have different criteria for how we grade things.
That's why I give it.
I mean-
I just don't know how can you give a C minus
C minus
to a
is
team
so
that's
much
lost
harsh.
because I mean, like,
to a team that's lost 2 games.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to go
It's
into.
insane.
I wanted to go into this, and like, I do want to say, I've not been that impressed with Man City
No,
compared
you
to what
haven't,
I
no.
expect. Like, so I.
Which is
Ed,
why they're a B.
Yeah,
well,
I
that's why
agree
they're
with
a
what
C.
you're saying,
Yeah.
but that's why they're a B plus and not an A plus.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, there's no.
Well, I am outnumbered, so.
It has to be B something.
I'd say I can go with B,
Yeah.
but like I can't go below that.
Yeah, I can agree.
Like, obviously, I was a bit worried. Well, I'm not worried, happy, but like,
Panicking.
like seeing those 2 losses in a row, I thought, oh, there's something wrong there. But obviously, no, it's just a Pep dip, and they'll probably go on to like a 16-win
Rodri-
streak.
I don't-
mean, bear in mind, this is the season so far. Do I expect Man City to pick up? Yes. Will their grade most likely have increased by the end of the season? Absolutely. But like right now, yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, I
I
mean,
get what
like,
you're saying.
I
They
don't
are.
know. I do think Man City are a bit different to previous years.
Yeah,
I'm not
I wonder if-
saying I'm not seeing this like, oh, they're just going to go straight back to winning every game. Not that I think they'll be in like the title race. I'm not saying
Yeah,
anything
sure.
like that. But I do think that they're a bit weaker than they've been in previous years. And obviously that's got something to do with the De Bruyne injury. And
Yeah,
obviously
De Bruyne's
Rodri
been a
being
big
out.
miss. De
He's
Bruyne-
been a massive miss.
Like even for Haaland, like obviously Haaland's been, Haaland's still doing well, but he's Haaland's needed De Bruyne in those big games.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And I think I didn't realise how much of a loss he'd be because you just look at how much creativity's around the Man City team.
Yeah,
Like
that's
anyway,
slightly
when
worrying.
you look at like they've got like Foden, Doku's really creative.
Oh, Doku is such a good
He's been
player.
so good.
Yeah, he's
I
great. I wanna give
really
Chelsea if he
I know he never plays, but I really like Sergi Gomez, the left
Yeah.
back. He's been good when he plays, but
Fair.
like
Yeah.
they've got Rico Lewis has been so good. They've got so many creative players, but like
It's just without
So
De
you-
Bruyne and Rodri.
yeah.
That's why.
no, they are a
Well,
different
yeah,
team. But
understandable.
C minus
Like, two of the
is
best players in the
Ed.
world.
C minus is like
This is outrageous.
outrageous.
It's got to be B something.
It's got to be a B something.
I'd say a B.
I'd say a
B
B.
minus then.
No, it's straight B.
It's a B, yeah.
It's a
With
straight
the
B.
majority, yeah.
Yeah, there's no C minus.
Honestly, I'm standing by it.
I mean, fair enough,
Yeah.
but like
Your opinion,
what?
but no.
It's your opinion, but you're wrong.
Okay, we're going to be moving on. Obviously, we've got Arsenal up next.
Okay,
Ed.
I think the opposite thing's going to happen here.
Oh.
I've given Arsenal a B.
I gave him a B plus.
Oh, okay.
B plus.
Oh, I think I've given Arsenal an A minus.
I think.
I
yeah.
thought you guys were going to give them lower.
Not
they
really,
are
no.
unbeaten.
But
I was going to say,
the thing is,
They're
Michael,
unbeaten.
they are unbeaten, but they haven't been playing good football.
That's why. That's why.
no,
that's why
no,
a B.
Yeah,
but
I thought that would be-
okay,
yeah,
they
yeah.
have beaten Man City, firstly.
Yeah, sure.
And like they're getting results. I know I kind of seem like I go bipolar on Arsenal because like in one of the previous episodes I said
Tottenham fan,
yeah,
that's kinda
I
like-
said they were like I said they were going to be like Spurs last year, or they could be. And like I'm not saying they've played particularly well either, but like so far based on what we've seen, and like I know that it's Sheffield United, but they dismantled them pretty easily. Like I just think it's that they're in second and they've looked okay. They've not looked like so much worse that I think.
It's so weird that
anything lower than
they've
that.
been playing so averagely, but have been getting those results. I guess that's kind of a good.
That's why I give
That's what I was going to say.
That's why I give
well,
it a grade.
I think,
Yeah.
no, but I do agree with that in a way because, like, I do agree with your grades, and I think I could be like convinced to a B or a B plus.
Yeah,
just because
they
I
didn't
do
look good.
agree.
They didn't look good against Chelsea.
If the
last few.
until Chelsea basically gave it to Arsenal.
ball.
Like
Chelsea don't bowl.
if Arsenal perform like this for the rest of the season, I don't think they'll be in the title race.
I think.
No, I know.
I think
Yeah, exactly.
I think
They'll
they'll
catch
turn
up.
up the performances.
Like eventually, there's going to come a point
Where
this
you'll
is
be
gonna
found
hit-
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it's going to go back to hit them, and
now-
also they're kind of
Well, if they don't improve, obviously.
some of the. I think they're still missing some of that depth. Like they still need to make a couple of signings where they can make some of the some of those
wanna reach City,
rotations.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're still missing that striker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taser's been-
Well, I think I'd say that like every
Well, to be fair,
team-
and Casillas was amazing. The
He
other
was
day,
Yeah,
so-
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Can't complain.
but that was again. Who was that against?
Sheffield United,
Yeah, so
yeah.
you can't really.
Yeah.
I mean,
could
I
do
think that every team in the title race, or like at least in the top four so far, apart from City, has got like slight depth issues.
that. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think every team in the league has depth issues in comparison to Man
Because
City.
Man City have made the expectations so high.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they basically have unlimited money where they can get they can
My
get
rationale
anyone.
behind the Arsenal one is that they're sort of doing as they'd want to do, but that is hard in itself because they are not City. They are a team that are trying to establish themselves as title
Well, no,
contenders
but
season
I think-
in, season out.
I think
That's
I
that's
mean,
why-
fair
no,
play
but-
there in top two, like for a second season running. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
impressive.
I
So
think
it's like
that's
they're doing what they want to do, but that's hard.
no.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah, but I
doing
think
what they want
if
to do,
we-
but it's so hard
it's
to
so
do.
hard for them to rank. It's so hard
I
to
think
rank them.
if
like-
we've given City a B, right, for being slightly off it, which we all agree they have been so far, but like Arsenal have been slightly off it, but they didn't have, I feel like everyone a little bit was like, everyone's like, Arsenal will be the closest team to challenge City, but
Yeah.
kind of most people at university were like, well, they're not going to win the league.
No.
Yeah.
And like, I still
I still think they'll be
I
the
still
closest challenge to City.
I still think that could potentially be the case. But it's so I'd say
That's why- the
that's
reason
it's
why
like
I haven't gone
a
to an
B
A.
plus or like an
I think B
still
plus.
The reason why I haven't gone to an A is because the football just has to be good. Like
yeah, I
But-
can-
but-
but then I'd
that's
say
why I didn't give them an
but then
A
I'd
as well.
say like they are in second. I think that's why I put the A minus there because
Yeah.
it's like I've actually realised I've given no one an A on this. I've kind of like
have you not?
no, not a
Is it the
straight
next
A.
team?
Okay.
Not the next.
Give him an
No.
F.
You didn't give an A to the next team.
Well, I mean, you'll see what I gave him in a minute.
Okay. So
Wow.
are we going with a B plus?
I think B plus.
A B plus, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right.
All right.
This should be the
Spurs.
easiest one.
Michael's favourite class.
Yeah.
This should be so easy.
Tottenham, top of the league, A plus.
Yeah, A plus. Yeah.
Yeah, A plus if that's a thing. Like,
Yeah,
A star.
the highest score you can get.
Yeah, I also gave an A+. That's what I said. I didn't give anyone a straight A.
Oh,
Oh,
I
right.
thought you meant A bracket.
No,
Give him a B.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just quickly talk about it, even though it's
justifying all expectations.
in
like,
agreement.
literally.
Yeah.
They've done the right thing hiring Ange as the manager, and Ange has done the right thing on the pitch. Like
It's been, like,
with
pretty much
Madison,
perfect,
Son, like
Made
it's
incredible
gone.
signings.
Yeah, everything's gone
Yeah.
well. Like,
And I mean,
replaced Lloris finally.
We've lost
Lovely football.
we've lost the best ever striker in our club's history and have looked better.
And you
We've
scored 22
started.
goals with no penalties.
Yeah, this is
maybe
Spurs'
he was the curse. Harry Kane was the curse. He'll go to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich will
Look at
bottle the
that.
Bundesliga.
Yeah. This is Spurs'
Winning on
greatest
last day.
ever start to a Premier League season. I mean, there's no more A+ than that.
I
you
think
know?
this is also the greatest start to a new manager.
It is as
It
well.
is,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
So-
2 manager of the months in a row.
And honestly,
Potentially
it
3.
should be 3. No other team has won every single game in October apart from Spurs. So it should be
You've won
3 in a
every
row.
game bar Arsenal. Is that right?
There's 2 draws.
Oh, 2 draws. Oh, yeah, the opening day as well.
The
Against
opening day
Brentford.
against Bournemouth. And like
Maybe Brentford, wasn't it?
Brentford, sorry, not Bournemouth. We won that game.
close enough.
There you
Yeah.
go, undefeated.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just been
undefeated.
so
What
good.
more could you
What
want?
can you say?
Yeah, literally.
I guess you. Oh, well, I guess you.
They've
could
just gone.
say-
They've
Well,
just
you
gone.
could say win in all 10 games.
Well, like,
Tottenham's signing a manager who, had the potential is the right thing to do instead of going for that big ego like Conte or Mourinho.
yeah.
And yeah, they've just done everything right.
And
So
the reason it's an A plus as well is just because people did not expect this once again.
No, I mean, not even, and I mean, look, I don't know how we're going to come when we, do
definitely
the
didn't
mid-season
have it in
ones
top
or
five.
whatever, but, I almost think there's, for me, I'm not putting, where I think Spurs will be. I just kind of think we need to kind of see what happens almost, you know?
enjoy it, man.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas, that I could, I mean, it's not even, for me, I'd say, even if we, move down into 5th or 6th, that's still not a fall off for me, because, that's kind of where I expected we'd be, you know?
Yeah.
This has just been. I think the fact that it's been such an amazing start. Obviously, people will call it that. I'm not immune to that. But I think it's been. I think January is going to be very important to be whether Spurs can mount a serious title challenge or not, and getting injury free to January, because we don't have any centre backs that can replace Romero or Van de Ven.
Yeah, that's
if there's
the only
injuries.
thing. You
That's
just need
the that's the
depth
biggest
in the
worry
six
for
backs,
me.
you know?
People keep going on about Maddison and Son, but I think there are I'm not saying they're anywhere close to what they are, but it's not the drop off that the centre backs are at all. I mean, Lo Celso is a big drop off. Don't get me wrong, but I think he can do some things. Whereas we know what Dyer is going to be, or it's a young an Ashley Phillips or a Jamie Donnelly, who both have never played in the Premier League a single minute before.
Yeah, that's the only thing, right? You need to, in case those players get injured, how much it's going to affect the team.
Yeah, I think that's the real bit. If we can keep healthy until January, and then in January get in another. I mean, honestly, we could get in 2 centre backs. I wouldn't be, and probably another creative midfielder, I'd say.
Or just as some decent backup for Son and Madison as well.
Well, honestly, attacking depth, I think for us isn't too bad. You look at Brennan Johnson was on the bench the other day, or Jill was back on the bench yesterday. I think there's decent depth, and obviously Solomon will be coming back at some point.
Yeah.
And Perisic in the new year, I believe, in kind of February, March time could be coming back as well.
So shall I read through all the final ratings?
Yeah, go on. We'll give them all the final ratings.
Yeah, so Sheffield United we gave them an E. Burnley a D-, Luton a C-, Bournemouth a D-, Nottingham Forest a C-, Everton C-, D+, Fulham C-, Crystal Palace a C, Wolves a B, Chelsea C-, D+, Brentford a C+, West Ham a B+, Man United an E+, Brighton a B-, Newcastle a B+, Aston Villa an A+, Liverpool an A-, City a B, Arsenal a B+, and Spurs an A+. So, well done Spurs and Aston Villa for both getting A+.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Clap it up.
Yeah.
Right. Now, with that's been we've just got 2 more segments. Usually we have a few more, but it's time for everyone's favourite bit of the show.
Oh.
We all know it. It's time for quickfire predictions.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right. Mr. Man City C-, we're coming to you first.
Mr. Rourke.
Mr. Raw, hold on though. Let me find the fixtures a second. Let me find the fixtures.
Look, I just want
Yeah, getting the
to feel the
yes.
score.
Right. You're gonna be starting off Fulham at Craven Cottage against Man United. Your prediction, sir?
Exciting game.
Oh God, quick fire.
It is quick fire.
2-1 Man United.
2-1 man. Ooh, okay. Sam.
Oh.
Brentford, West Ham at Brentford. I know I give you the eyes, Lewis, and then
I
went
know,
the other way.
you reel me in.
I know,
everything.
yeah.
I'm going with a 3-1 win to Brentford.
3-1 win to Brentford. Ooh, okay. Burnley, Crystal Palace at Turf Moor, Lewis.
What a game.
Yeah, I know. I get the best ones.
First on match of the day.
1-0 Palace, I guess.
Who cares?
Yeah.
1-0, yeah, 1-0 Palace, fair enough. Oh, I should mention the game of the week that we'll all predict. Oh, the 2 games of the week we'll all predict will be Newcastle, Arsenal, and Monday Night Football, Spurs, Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Oh,
As
no.
So, yeah.
have to.
Right. Yes, we do. I'm going to be predicting at Goodison Park, Everton versus Brighton. I'm going to say a 2-1 Everton win.
Yeah,
No, sorry, 2-1
No,
2-1 Brighton, sorry, 2-1 Brighton.
Say.
no that's,
I kind of.
it's not a bad thing to say Everton would to win, to be fair.
Honestly, yeah.
I
I
would
don't know, like...
Everton usually are.
Now you're
Yeah.
putting me
Bounce.
on it. Clearly I
Stick with it, stick
clearly I
with
it.
made
Yeah,
the
yeah.
mistake for a reason.
Clearly your gut
Everton
wanted you
2-1
to
win.
stick with
Yeah,
it,
my
stick
gut
with
one.
it. Yeah.
Right. I'm also screw it. It's quick fire. I'm gonna take the next one at Etihad. City
course.
Bournemouth. I mean it's 3-0 City win. That's pretty easy, I'd say.
I would go like 5-6, honestly.
5, yeah.
So why? Yeah, but I
I
feel
would've
like
said
you can
5-0,
never predict
yeah.
more than like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
Guess so.
disrespectful to anyone, you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right. Ed, we're going back to you. Bramall Lane, Sheffield United versus Wolves.
Let's go with a 1-0 Wolves.
1-0 Wolves. Okay.
Yeah.
Lewis,
Yes.
the City ground, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa.
Oh, 3-1 Villa.
3-1 Villa. Okay. And Sam, we're going to come to you last. Kenneth Road, Luton, Liverpool.
3-0 Liverpool.
3-0 Liverpool. Okay, right. Now we're going to be doing our 2 games of the week. We'll kick it off with Newcastle Arsenal at St
Okay.
James's Park. Ed, if you want to kick us off.
Oh,
Goodness me.
goodness gracious.
I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal,
I'll say
okay.
1-0, I reckon.
2-2?
I'm also going to say 2-2.
Oh, I don't know. It's hard. I don't
That's a
know.
tough
It is
one.
such a tough one.
I genuinely don't know.
It's one of those games. It could literally go any way, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's such a tight game to predict. Honestly, it's why I predicted a draw. Like, a good score draw. Both teams have been scoring for fun, and both defenses have looked a bit shaky at times. So I definitely think that a score draw is in play.
To be fair, if anyone can like find Arsenal out, it will be Newcastle.
I was going to say if it was
Yeah.
Newcastle as well. Yeah, they've been banging in the goals for fun recently. Right, our last game, Monday Night Football, Spurs Chelsea at my place of work. Spurs. Ed, you want to kick us off?
2-0 Tottenham.
I was going to say that as well, yeah, 2-0 Spurs.
2-0 Tottenham.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 Tottenham. Sorry.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Unanimous.
I'm
Yeah,
not-
no, I
I'm
think
not-
that's the first time in the history of quickfire predictions.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads.
I'm not looking forward to it. It's
It's a game.
It is.
It will happen.
We won't
It
be
is.
there.
we won't be there. Definitely not. No.
Move on.
We will be there until 2-0.
Then we leave.
Then we will leave.
That we will leave.
But I mean, it's reading week, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I mean like me in front of my TV.
My living room, yeah.
You'll leave your living
Go to
room.
my bed and cry.
Right. Of course, last but never least, it's FPL.
Of course.
I agree for once.
You actually do, yeah. Me and Lewis.
Yeah, you two
Lewis,
looked.
89 points.
I pretty
Me,
much-
91. Lewis, you're finally in single-digit points away from last. How do you feel?
Honoured.
On it, you're only 8
Not
points
last.
away.
One day.
You will. I feel like you could do it next week. We could be sitting here like getting out the fucking party poppers and everything.
Yeah.
Be a champion.
Yeah,
Someone
that's
that
it.
And
leads.
we both
underdog
moved up.
story.
We've both moved up.
We've it. Sam, you moved up to
Good
8th
week.
place, and you're only 9 points. No, sorry, that's not quick maths. You're only 12 points
Thank you.
off Louis.
Yeah, my brother. Yeah.
Yeah. I've moved up into 4th. I'm only 19 points off first. So Louis, I'm coming for you. Just for
The other
reference.
Louis. The other Louis. Yeah.
Too many Louis.
Oh yeah, the other ones. Oh for God's sake.
Too many.
I do think I need to make some changes though. Like I'm thinking of getting. Like I said earlier, I rate Højlund a lot, but I think he needs to go.
He has to go, blood.
He has to go, blood.
has
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
See, I'm like Ollie Watkins got 2 points. He didn't do. I'm like, but he's kind of the second. I don't know who I could get that would be better than him. You know.
Callum Wilson's the one, because I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, you're
He's the only
right.
one that would be
Yeah,
like-
Callum Wilson. Because I've already got Sonny as well. He's in my midfield.
So I've got
before he
two
wants.
free transfers, and two players I want to get rid of, and that's Ward-Prowse
that's
and
perfect.
Højlund.
I
And
also agree
you
with
know what?
Ward-Prowse.
You know what? Ward-Prowse and Højlund are probably going to have an amazing game this week. Okay, so now I just need to think of who I'm gonna.
Oh, we don't have to do the transfers now if you
I
guys
think
don't
they're
want
early,
to.
it's
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
If you want to do them now, Sam, the content would
Well, I
be
would
very
say
appreciative. But
Ward-Prowse will go blood.
I don't have him, so.
Oh, he will go blood.
But
Don't come
that
to
makes
me.
sense.
He will go blood.
All right, is that?
He will
Are we? Are we all done with FPL then?
Yes, sir.
You guys?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. That is all we got time for. Fortunately, this has been a really really fun episode. I know an hour. We're spoiling you on Halloween.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Halloween
know.
special.
The Halloween special it is. You'll see the fancy VHS graphics that will be out for
There's
this.
some jump scares in the
Yeah.
video.
Sorry, all headphone listeners.
Subscribe, or we're going to come to your house for trick or treating.
We'll throw
Yeah.
eggs at your
Thank
house.
you. Yeah.
There you
yeah.
go. Yeah. So yeah. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as you say, we've been very grateful. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Namaste.